Anyone notice that as that day comes around, they're sick? Because here's how the mind works. You say, oh my God, I volunteered to chair that meeting. I must have been out of my mind. I'd die if I've got to go on stage. I don't want to do that. And your brain's like, leave that with me. Now next Wednesday comes and you wake up with diarrhea and your brain's like, how cool am I?
Accumulating things does not make you happy. What makes you happy is your relationship with people. Every word you say is a blueprint that your mind, body and psyche are working to make your reality.
So I'm going to give you a crash course in how to run your brain in 25 minutes, and you really can do it. So I've always been fascinated by human behavior and how the brain works, and I've spent most of my adult life studying how the mind works, which is why I became a therapist. And I was very lucky because I got voted best therapist in Britain and got voted the best of the best in Tatler and in lots of other magazines too. And I only tell you that because that opened so many doors for me, and suddenly I'm being flown all over the world working with Olympic athletes and rock stars. And that was great for me because then I got a chance to really look at how people's brains work. And I was fascinated by how people who've got everything have a bit of a different mindset. I had two types of clients, those that had everything and loved it, and those who had everything and thought, how quickly can I fuck this up? And it was really interesting how their mind worked. So when I was studying to be a therapist, my teacher, who was very eminent, said to me, well, he said to the whole class, the mind is really complicated. It's extraordinarily complex. Takes a lifetime to understand and a lifetime to master. And I thought, well, how's that going to work then? Who's got a lifetime to work with their patients? Not me. I haven't even got a lifetime to sort out my own brain, let alone someone else's. So I thought that was a strange thing, that we're taught our mind is complicated, complex, takes a lifetime to master. Maybe by the time you're 90, you might have got it worked out, but that's a bit too late. But I found three things, and in my own school I've been teaching them to people who are now becoming extraordinary therapists too. So you need to know three things about your brain, and I'm going to tell you what they are, and you're going to put them into practice, and I promise you it will change your life, and you can have pretty much whatever you want. So let's start with number one. This is how your brain works. It does what it thinks you want it to do. Sadly, it works off information you gave it once upon a lifetime ago when you were 6 or 10 or 15. But your mind is always doing what it thinks you want. It's always doing what it truly believes is in your very, very best interest. So if any of you here have got a habit you'd love to be free of, but guess what, you still got it? Your mind thinks, no, you don't really want to be free of that. And anyway, it's better for you to keep it. On the other hand, if there's a habit you'd love to acquire, like speaking in public, being really successful, believing in yourself, not eating junk, your mind thinks, nope, it's in your best interest to keep that habit. And so everything I'm going to teach you today, I didn't learn from a book, I learned from my own patients. And I was told I could never have children and I just have to get over it. But I knew even then I wasn't going to believe that. And I'm very much known as a therapist. So when doctors can't get anywhere with their patients, they send them to me. And for a while, because I was told I was infertile and then proved that not to be the case, I worked with infertile women and almost always got them pregnant, usually by the very next cycle, even if they hadn't had a period for 10 years, because you really can feel miracles when you understand how the brain works. So doctors would say, okay, this patient has unexplained infertility. Well, what does that mean? It means I can't explain it. There's nothing wrong with their body. They have periods, eggs are fine, husband's sperm's fine, can't have a baby. So they'd come to see me and I'd usually regress them back. And they always came up with the same thing. Where are you? I'm 17, what's going on? Oh my God, I think I could be pregnant. My dad's going to kill me. I'm going to get thrown out of the house. I'll get kicked out of school. Where are you? Oh, I think I might be pregnant and I'm going to lose my job. Or sometimes you just go back to normal things, like saying to their boyfriend every month, for God's sake, don't get me pregnant. That would be a nightmare. And now the brain is very clear. You don't want a baby? God, no. You've used nightmare, hell, disaster. My dad will kill me. You don't want a baby. And now the brain is very clear. You don't want a baby. It's like, no, that was when I was 16. Now I'm 36. I've just spent 20 grand on IVF. I really do want a baby. But the mind doesn't catch up with you. We think we're so smart and our mind is so evolved, but it is often stuck in the past. So who here has done this? Who here has said, I'm dreading going to that meeting next Wednesday. Why did I volunteer to speak? I'd give anything not to have to go and chair the meeting, speak up, go. Anyone ever done that? Anyone notice that as that day comes around, they're sick? Because here's how the mind works. You say, oh my God, I volunteered to chair that meeting. I must have been out of my mind. I'd die if I've got to go on stage. I don't want to do that. And your brain's like, leave that with me. Now next Wednesday comes and you wake up with diarrhea and your brain's like, how cool am I? You can't even leave the bathroom, let alone go for that meeting. Who here has ever said, I'm so stressed, I'm pushed to the max here, I'm at my limit, what I would give for a weekend in bed just lying around? Your brain's gone, oh, do you want the flu? I could give you that tomorrow. Now there you are in bed. And of course, that's not what you wanted. But you've got to be very, very clear with the brain. Because this is your brain's job, and it really is this specific. Your brain's job is to keep you alive on the planet. And it does that by moving you away from anything it thinks will cause you pain. So when we were tribes people, we didn't really wander too far from the tribe. We didn't eat anything that looked a bit odd, because we survived by linking pain to something. And life hasn't changed. Anyone here ever eaten something that's made them really, really sick, like mushrooms? Still eat them now? Anyone had really bad food poisoning? Anyone find they cannot now eat that food that they were up all night bringing up over the toilet? Sure, because when you go, oh my God, I'll never eat seafood again as long as I live, your brain remembers. Next time you see seafood, you kind of feel a bit odd and think, oh, no, I can't eat that. No, no, no. So your brain's job, very clear, move you away from pain. So what do you think happens when you drive to work going, this traffic is killing me. I am dying in this job. My client is hell. My boss is a nightmare. I'm going up the wall with stress. Well, your mind goes, okay, let me just get that again. Your job is killing you. Your boss is driving you crazy. You're up to the wall with stress and you're dying under your paperwork. Well, I don't think you should go back to that job anymore. So I can make you really sick so you can't go. And if you ignore me, I just make you sicker. I can give you an ulcer. I can give you panic attacks. That's what the mind does. So give you an example. One of my clients was telling me that when he was a kid, he had to read out loud. And he had to read out stomach. And when he got to it, he read stomach. My stomach ate. And all the children laughed, and even the teacher laughed, and he went bright red. And his brain starts to search for, oh, what's making you so stressed? Oh, you read out loud. You drew attention to yourself. Everyone laughed at you. Don't ever do that again. And so many, many, many years pass, and he decides to go for an interview. And his brain's like going, what are you doing? Don't you remember what you said? You were never going to draw attention to yourself again. You seem to be going for an interview. I'll make you really anxious and nervous, and you won't go. For other people, that stuff, they go, you know, I thought I could do that public speaking, but actually when it came to it, I was so nervous, I pulled out of it, and I've never done it since. That's one group. Second group, ignore that and go, no, I've got to do it, I want to do it. And they do it under terrible duress. They're anxious, they're stressed, and their brain's going, hello? Why are you ignoring all these fantastic illnesses I'm coming up with to get you off that stage? You appear to be on that stage, so I'll just crank them up even more. Third group, they're much smarter. They dialogue with their brain very, very, very differently. So let me give you an example. Who here's got their own business or would like their own business? Okay. So when you have your own business or you write books or you speak, you often have to work weekends. Sometimes you have to work nights. And so if you're sitting at home, this is you going, oh God, I've got to spend all weekend writing. This is so hard. It's really boring. All my friends are in the pub. Your brain's like, you don't really want to do that. Why don't I have you tidy up your sock drawer for 3 hours and empty out your emails because you don't want to do that work. And you go, no, I've got to do it. I have to do it. It's so boring, but I must do it. And your brain's like, I'm going to distract you because your brain's job is to pull up resistance if you don't want to do something. So it's really poor communication saying I've got to and I have to and it's really hard and it's dull. And it isn't just using words like this is a nightmare, this is hell, just saying this is so boring. Oh, this is so dull. It's enough to get your brain to say, move. So this is how you communicate with your brain. You say to it, I have my own business, I really want to do this, I have chosen to work through the night, I've chosen to do it, I've chosen to feel great about it because I've chosen to be successful. And your brain goes, You really want to work all night? Yep, I really want to work all night. And I'm going to say it excites me to work all night. It empowers me to work all night. It thrills me. My brain's like, yeah, I got it. Great. So instead of making you resist, I can just give you loads of energy and I can set you on fire and you can work all night because you told me you want it, you like it, you've chosen it, and you've chosen to feel great about it. So I learned this technique when I was working. I used to work on a lot of shows with very fat celebrities with the idea that we'd get them very thin. And one day we were working with some Marines in Wales, and the Marines were running up a hill. It was pouring with rain. They were running through sheep shit. They had half their body weight on their back, and they had a miner's light strapped onto their head. And so they're running, and the brain's going, yeah, this is a bit weird. You're running up a hill in the pouring rain. You've got a miner's light on your head. You've got half your body weight on your back. It's freezing cold, but you're singing. And of course, because the Marine's singing, the brain's like, yeah, well, I guess you like this stuff. I mean, you're singing, you must like it. I don't have to do anything because you like it. And that's why people sing when they're doing something difficult. Now, the celebrities, okay, here's the miner's light. They go, if you think I'm putting that miner's light on my head, you are out of your fucking mind. There's no way, excuse me swearing, I'm going to wear that. You think I'm going to run through sheep shit in the rain at 7 o'clock at night? I'm not doing that. And of course, they couldn't do it because they said, I'm not doing it. Whereas when you say, I've chosen to do this, I want to do this excites me, it empowers me, then you get what you want. So let me just move on to, how many people have done this? Thought I want some time off and got really sick. Let's go on to our next slide. Because this is not positive thinking. It's nothing like that. This is clear, specific, detailed, precise communication with your mind. And when you're detailed, you get whatever you want. Because your mind doesn't care. Your mind doesn't care if what you tell it is good or bad, right or wrong, healthy or unhealthy. It just believes it. So who likes to have proof that everything I'm saying is true? Stand up and let's have a little bit of proof. So I want you to remember this. Your mind does not care what you tell it. If it's positive or negative, good or bad, healthy, unhealthy, it just goes in. So I want you all to take your left arm and I want you to point your left arm out like that. And all you're going to do, have a little rehearsal so you don't poke out your neighbour's eye. All you're going to do is that. So you might need to come forwards or out a bit. So all I want you to do is everyone take their left arm and I want you to take it as far back behind as it will go. Push it to where it is. Now look over your shoulder and just notice where your left arm is. That's all you have to do. Notice where it is. Bring it back. Drop your arm down again. Close your eyes. And you're going to have a bit of amazing proof now. I want you to tell your left arm in a minute, when I repeat this exercise, you will go a third further. You are super flexible. You're like Play-Doh. You're like elastic. You're like a bendy doll. And you are going to go a whole third further. And now I want you to see all the muscles in your shoulder like spaghetti, cooked spaghetti. So believe your arm is super, super, super flexible. See it going further. And now tell it. You will go a third further. Don't move it yet. See it going further. Tell it to go further. Open your eyes. Lift up your left arm and just watch as it goes a whole third further when you do it again because you told it to. So now you have the proof. You can never again go, I'm rubbish at this. I can't do that. I knew I'd get that wrong. I knew I'd mess that up. We're going to do another one, so stay standing up. These are all fun. So we'll just do one more. It's nothing humiliating or embarrassing. It's all cool. Just put your hands by your side and put your feet together and close your eyes. Just keep your eyes closed. And I want you to imagine right in front of your chin is the most powerful magnet, an enormous magnet. It's so super powerful. It is pulling you forwards, forwards, forwards from the chin. Your whole body is leaning, tipping, hinging. Your chin is moving forwards. Your shoulders are moving forwards. You're bending from the waist. Your knees are locking. You really, really want to come up onto your tiptoes as that magnet pulls you and pulls you and pulls you. And now I want you to imagine it's changed position. It's gone right to the back of your head. And this time it's pulling you backwards, backwards, backwards. Your head is going backwards. Your shoulders are going backwards. Your knees are locking. Your toes are trying to come into the air as that magnet pulls you backwards, backwards, backwards. And finally, it's gone to the left of your left shoulder. Your whole body is pulled over to the left by this powerful, powerful magnetic force. You're like a weeping willow in the wind, and you are pulled over to the left more and more and more. And now just open your eyes and take a seat. Because there's no magnet. That's your mind. How powerful your mind is. I would really love it if they teach this stuff in school, because once you know how powerful your mind is, now it's your fault. Before you can say, I didn't know better, it's not my fault, I describe myself as an idiot. Now you know better, and it is your fault. So you're not allowed to do that anymore. No more diminishing yourself. So let's just do one more. You can all see that lemon, can't you? Put your hand in front of your mouth, just like that. Close your eyes. And I want you to imagine that you're holding half of a big, fat, juicy lemon. It smells like the most best lemon smell ever. You can feel that great lemony, waxy thing, and you can inhale it, and you can really feel this juicy lemon. Now open your mouth and cram that lemon in there. Shove it in and start sucking it and biting it and chewing it. And just go to work on that lemon. And of course, what's going to happen, or what's happening, is that your mouth is filling up with saliva right now to a thought. And open your eyes. Thoughts are things. Whatever you think, your body agrees. The mind says yes, the body says yes. It doesn't really work the other way around. So you've got to say yes to better stuff. So how many of you do this? I just got a new PA. She's amazing. But every time she said, oh, my God, I wanted to die when I got the job with you. Oh, this boy just asked me out. I want to die. And I'm like, I don't think that is going to work out until you stop using that word. So who says it's hell in Tesco's? It's a nightmare on the M25. My commute is killing me. Put your hand up if you use any of those words or ever have in your lifetime. Sure. And you have to change that and just go, well, it's a challenge in the traffic. It's a little bit boring being in Tesco's, but it's not hell, because you respond to the picture. So let's go straight on to step 2, because it figures in very well. The first thing about your brain does exactly what it thinks you want it to do, what it thinks is in your best interest, and what you told it years and years ago. And it's up to you to change that and go, yeah, I didn't want to draw attention to myself when I was 12, but now I'm like 52 and I really want to draw attention to myself. I want to have a great business. I want to ask for a pay rise. I deserve it. I'm worth it. I matter. I'm significant. Because the second thing about the brain is, and this is really interesting, it responds to 2 things. Only 2 things, there's nothing else. It responds to the pictures you make in your head and the words you say to yourself. So a patient rang me up last year and went, could you help me? I can't merge. And I'm like, what does that mean? Because I can't merge. Because I've got these companies all over England. I have to drive from London to Manchester, Edinburgh. And I have to go on all the A roads, B roads, because I can't merge on a motorway. But now I've got to give people lifts, and I can't tell them I can't merge. I'm like, oh, come in, you'll be merging in 24 hours, it's fine. But as it happened, I had to drive to Manchester with my husband, and we were driving back really early in the morning. It was still dark, and it was raining really badly, and I had to overtake a juggernaut. And I was thinking about my client, thinking, wow, what that must be like not to merge. And as I thought about it, I thought, oh, my God, I can't merge. I'm halfway past this lorry, and I have forgotten how to merge, because I'm thinking his thoughts and seeing his images, and I had to very quickly stop and go, come on, you know how to merge. You put your foot down, you follow the curve of the road, and you say, I can do it. And then I got back into the inside lane, and I thought, I could wait my husband and say, baby, you've got to drive now because I can't merge. But I thought, this is silly. Of course I can merge. But, when you take on someone else's words and thoughts, you start to feel like them. So I'm flying to Spain to see a client, and I'm in the queue to get on the plane, and this woman is crying hysterically. Her husband's begging and pleading, come on, babe, get on the plane. They're gonna, and the staff are going, well, she's not getting on the plane, and we're taking off her luggage because she's not getting on the plane like that. And I'm like, oh, no, it's going to be a disaster. I'll help her out. I would have helped her. And I said, listen, what is the matter? She said, I can't get on the plane. I'm like, why not? And she went, well, look at it. That looks like a flying coffin. And I'm scared if I get on, I'll never get off. And I'm like, oh, right. Well, that would make anyone scared, calling a plane a flying coffin. You could call it flying sofa, maybe. But flying coffin, that's not a great word. And so I asked her a few questions and said, what did you do yesterday? And she looked at me. I said, I know what you did. She said, what? I said, you did all your laundry, didn't you? She went, how did you know? And I said, because people who think they're going to die tidy up their house. She goes, yes, I always do that before I go on a plane, and then I usually can't get on it. I said, look, you don't even have a fear of flying. You have a fear of not being in control, but I'm going to fix it. So I was telling her this story that I took my daughter to Disneyland, and I thought we were going on a little ride that went like that, and it actually went like that, and my brain was being thrown around my skull. My daughter was screaming because she hated it, and I thought, well, I could scream too, but that's not going to help her. So I started going, oh, yay, this is fantastic. I love this. This is amazing. I really didn't. I can't tell you how much I didn't. But it confused my brain, and then it confused her brain, and she was going, yay, I like it too. When we got back, she said, did you like that, Mummy? I'm like, no. But I wanted to confuse myself. She goes, oh, Mummy, you confused me because I thought you loved it. So I'm telling this woman this story, going, okay, we're going to get on the plane. I'm going to hold your hand, and we're going to pretend we're in Disneyland. We're going to go, I love this as the plane takes off. And we're going to go, yay, this is great. So I explained a lot of things. We got on the plane. I held her hand. And as it took off, she looked at me and went, oh, my God, this is like, why is it this easy? I'm like, because it is this easy. Your brain responds to two things, the pictures you make and the words. And when you go, yay, this is fantastic, you have a different reaction. And she said, so should I lie to myself? I'm like, absolutely, all the time. 100%. You should lie to yourself and lie because, we think we're so smart. We think we've evolved. But, when you go up to the top of the shard, I went up to the top of the shard, I went to the edge, and I had to do that and walk round it. And I wasn't remotely scared, but my body was going, get away from the edge, because its job is to move you away from pain. So you respond to the pictures you make in your head and the words you say to yourself. So here's a thought. Anyone here not having the most amazing success at being on a healthy diet? Anyone failing to avoid pizza and chocolate and ice cream and Ben and Jerry's and not finding themselves going for a run at 6 o'clock every morning? So this is what happens. You're in a restaurant. Let's pretend this is a menu, and you go, oh, my God, they have burger and fries and pizza. I love all of that. Oh, it's my favorite. An apple crumble with custard and double chocolate fudge ice cream. And you go, but I'm on a diet. I'm having the salad. And your brain's going, salad? No. You love all that stuff. Last time you ate it, you went, oh, my God, this is better than sex. It's so good. And now you're going to deprive yourself of it. And your brain's going, eat the pizza, eat the pizza. You go, no, I'm having salad. And your brain's going, salad? When did that ever give you intense pleasure? Don't be silly. Eat the pizza. So you go, okay. Now you think, now I feel so bad I ate the pizza. Your brain's like, eat more. That's why it's called comfort food. Now I've eaten more pizza. I feel bad. Your brain goes, eat some ice cream. Have a beer. So this is the wrong way to go. I love chocolate. I'm never having it again. All my favorite things I'm giving up for you. I'm never eating ice cream again. I love it. It's yummy. I can't have it. And it doesn't help with what they call it divine and love and celebration and hero. So the way to do it is to go, oh, look, they have pizza. Yeah, I like that. But you know what? I like being a size 10 way more. I like fitting into my jeans way more. And there's pizza. I can have that when I'm 96. Right now, I would look good in my clothes and maybe out of them too, and your brain's like, you don't want the pizza? No, I don't want the pizza. I want to be really fit and healthy, and I've got pizza for the next 50 years. Right now, I'm choosing to look good in my clothes because I'm 95. I'm not going to look good in my underwear no matter how thin I am. That door is shut, and then I can have loads of pizza. And your brain's like, oh, yeah, I get that. I get that with your language. You've said you could have it. You're choosing not to. It makes you happy not to. It thrills you not to. It empowers you not to. And then all resistance goes away because you just change the pictures. Instead of thinking that cake looks nice, you go, yeah, it does look nice, but it doesn't look as nice as I look when I fit into my clothes. You can choose what everything means. You can choose when you get on a plane, either of those pictures. You can choose what this one means. Is that really hell to be in a traffic jam? Well, hell is actually not having a car or any money to run one. Is it hell going shopping? No. When I was in Cuba, we lost all our luggage. We went to get more, and they went, we haven't got anything. We don't have any provisions in Cuba. There's nothing to buy. That's hell. Actually, I have to say it was quite liberating, really. But you can't go to shops and go, it's hell. It's a nightmare. It's a disaster until you go somewhere else and see what it is really like. So let's come to the very last part of my talk, which is the thing that therapists find the hardest, making what is familiar unfamiliar and what is unfamiliar familiar. So your brain loves what is familiar. It really wants to go for what is familiar. And if you want success, you've got to make unfamiliar familiar. Really hard work, applying yourself, but most of all, extraordinary self-belief. That will take you further than anything. So whatever you haven't got that you like, make it familiar. And if there's things that you've got that you don't like, make them unfamiliar. If you lounge around every morning and a weekend and start to go to the gym, that becomes familiar. So I worked with a lot of women on shows, and we do makeovers and make them look really pretty. And the minute the cameras stop rolling, they take all the makeup off, put their tracksuit on, and go home. And I worked with one once, and she went, yeah, I don't know what you've done to me, but it's really changed. And I met this really nice guy, and he took me out, and he opened doors, he bought me dinner. I don't think I can see him again. He's too good for me. I said, no. It's unfamiliar. You know, your dad treated you like shit. Men that do that are familiar. And now here's a nice guy, and you're just going to sit and go, I'm going to make this familiar, make this familiar, make this familiar, and make the other stuff unfamiliar. And of course it worked. And here's the thing that I find the most interesting. People who've never had praise, that is so unfair. If you say to them, I love that top, they go, I got it in Primark in the sale, it only cost £5. Or, I love your talk, yeah, but I left out the best bit. And the other person was much, much better than me. So if you do that, here's a tip. Make praise familiar. Make self-praise really, really familiar. And make criticism unfamiliar. People can say things, you don't have to let it in. So I want you all to close your eyes. And, you know, I worked with this very interesting guy whose parents had abandoned him, and they were really horrible to him, and he'd become very, very successful. And they got him to buy them a lot of stuff, but they never praised him. And then his dad died without ever telling him he was worth a bean. And one day I said to him, you know you're a good son. I put my hand on his shoulder. He sobbed uncontrollably for 10 minutes. And I had to say, look, let this in. You're a good son. Your dad's not going to tell you, but I will. So I want you all to think about what is the one thing you would have loved to have heard. We all want the same stuff. You're a great kid. How lucky am I that you're my kid? How lucky am I to be married to you, dating you, living with you? You're a great employee. You're great at your job. You know what you need to hear. I don't have to tell you. Close your eyes. Think of what you most wanted to hear now or 30 years ago, and say it to yourself now. I am. You can do it in your head or out loud. No one's listening. Just say it right now. I'm a good person. I'm smart. I matter. I'm successful. I'm significant. And just say it over and over and over again, because you're going to make that so familiar that the old voice is unfamiliar. And here's a great thing to end on. Studies have shown over and over again that depression is usually caused by harsh, hurtful, critical words that you say to yourself over and over again. Make that unfamiliar. Tell your brain what you want. Take responsibility for the words and pictures you use. Make great stuff familiar, negative stuff unfamiliar. I promise you can have whatever you like.
I hear many people say, oh, you know, I'm so worried, I'm always getting sick. My kid comes home with a bug and I get it. My grandchildren always have colds and I pick them up. And that's a belief. And you know what your immune system loves? It loves you to be positive and focused with a powerful belief that I am super well. And what the immune system really does not like is stress, panic, anxiety. You know, your thoughts are things. Thoughts become real. Every thought you think has a physical reaction and an emotional response. So here's an example. I could lie next to my husband in bed. He could be streaming with cold, and I could go, oh, you're going to make me ill now. You just left that tissue there, and don't sneeze, or I'm bound to get sick. Or I could say, you know, I have such a great immune system. My immune system is so great that I can be around him, and I'm going to be great, because I believe that to get sick, you have to be physically, mentally, and emotionally out. And And when you're saying, oh, I'm going to get sick now, I'm worried about getting sick, I hope I don't get a cold, I'm sure I'm going to get a cold, I always get colds in the winter. The minute the heating comes on, I get my sinus headaches. You are emotionally out because you're expecting it. And here's another rule of the mind: what we expect tends to be realized. So your immune system reacts very badly to stress, worry, panic, and anxiety. It depresses your immune system. But what makes you have a strong immune system is passionate beliefs, powerful beliefs, the way you dialogue with yourself. Oh, I'll get sick if I eat that. Oh, you know, I just ate some chicken at the end. I noticed it was a bit undercooked. Now I'm going to get sick. Or you could say, sick? I have a great immune system. I never get sick. I remember once somebody picking something up off the floor and eating it, and I looked at them and went, hey, that's what my immune system is for. And I travel a lot. I'm always going through time zones. I don't get sick and I don't get jet lag because I tell my immune system, hey, you can respond. I tell everyone, well, I sleep on the plane. Wherever I arrive, I sleep. I adapt really easily. And I do, but I tell myself that. I program my mind, condition my mind, dialogue with my mind by saying, oh, I've just adapted. I slept on the plane. I feel great. I'll sleep tonight. I don't have to wash everything I eat because I have a great immune system. And you may say, well, I think you're faking it, but you know what? It doesn't matter, because here's something that will really resonate when you let it in. Your mind doesn't know, and it doesn't even care if what you tell it is good or bad, true or false, useful, useless, helpful or harmful. It lets it in. That's going to make me sick. That's going to exhaust me. I can't cope with that. And you just have to flip over the words. Every time you say something negative, I'm chronically tired. Well, I'm a little tired. I've got the flu. I've got some aches and pains, but you know, I'm going to hydrate and sleep and I'll be great. And of course, occasionally I get a little something and I tell my body, I'm going to knock this out of my system in a day. I'm going to be over this in a day. I'm going to sleep and hydrate and I will be just fine. So the most important thing to boost your immunity, to give you a strong, powerful, reliable immune system, is to think different thoughts and speak different words. If you knew that every word you speak is a blueprint that your mind, body, and psyche must work to make real, you wouldn't say, well, my kid picks up everything going at school and I pick it up too, or it's flu season, it's cold season. Even when you go to the store and stock up on cold medicine, you're kind of expecting to get sick. Don't do that. By all means, have a little something in your house, but don't plan to be sick. Don't plan it. So use powerful language. My immune system is strong. My immune system is powerful. I have fantastic immunity, a great immune system, because your immune system is your first line of defense. Your immune system does a phenomenal job of keeping you well. And if you believe in it and think great thoughts and fill up your mind with images of your immune system doing a phenomenal job every day, it will do a phenomenal job. What else can you do to help your immune system? Well, here's something people don't seem to know. Every time you eat sugar, it depresses your immune system for 3 hours. And when you're feeling a little off color and you eat candy and chocolate and hot chocolate to give you energy, it actually makes you worse. You are what you eat. If you want to have a great immune system, you need to eat a rainbow diet of fruits and vegetables. You need to eat green vegetables. You need to eat fruits. You need to drink water. So the more candy you eat, the more junk food you eat, your body has to process that. Everything has to go through your immune system. Even when you spray yourself with perfume, that too must go through your immune system. So eat a better diet, fill up your plate with vegetables, and not just the same thing, carrots and peas. Have purple vegetables, green vegetables, orange vegetables, that rainbow diet. Vegetables and fruits, and particularly the skin, have all kinds of compounds that will help your immune system. So eat better, look at what you're eating, buy ingredients, not food. Don't buy TV dinners and processed food and ready food, because that's not real food. Buy ingredients, make real food. Hydrate. People just don't drink water. Oh, it's boring, I don't like water. I don't love water, but my body loves it. And to this day, I have to make myself drink water, especially in the winter. But I make myself drink water because my body is 90% water. If I don't drink water, I feel dehydrated. That also depresses my immune system. So what you think, what you eat, how you hydrate. And here's the third thing about your immune system: how much do you sleep? Do you go to bed at 2 o'clock in the morning, looking at your phone, stimulating your mind, have to wake up at 7 and never have enough sleep? You need to go to bed before midnight as often as you can. You need proper deep sleep. You need to switch the television off and really rest, because your immune system loves rest. People who meditate say, since I meditated, all those aches and pains, the headaches, the irritable bowel, they seem to have gone away. It's partly because when you meditate, you relax, you empty your mind, but also meditation makes you think about taking care of yourself. You have one body. It has to last you a long time. And I know you want your body to look after you. Of course we do. We all want our body to go, hey body, look after me, do a great job. But your body can't look after you. If you don't look after it, it's a win-win. When you can do just a few really good things for your body, meditate, take yourself to bed before midnight, sleep for 8 hours and sleep a deep sleep. Don't have your phone vibrating on the bedside table next to you. That should be 7 feet away from you because of the EMF, the electromagnetic frequencies. Sleep deeply, eat better, hydrate, think better thoughts. If you just do those 3 things for your body will do so many things back for you. Your body is so forgiving. Your liver, your arteries will all forgive you for treating your body badly when you start to treat it well. And if you say, well, I don't even believe that stuff, surely your immune system is fixed. Well, no, it's not fixed. There were some studies many years ago where they gave people who were madly in love tiny dose of poison, and it didn't affect them, because when you're in love, you're going, oh, I love you, I love everything, you're so great, I just ring your machine just to hear your voice, I look at your picture, you're the best thing ever. When you hear those kind of words, your immune system is massively boosted. Praise, recognition, admiration, self-praise will boost your immune system massively. And then they gave a fraction of the poison they gave to the lovers to people who were sad and negative and depressed and miserable and pessimistic, and they reacted to that poison immediately. So people say, I fell in love, and what the amazing thing, my irritable bowel went away. I stopped getting headaches, my eczema cleared up, came back later, but for the first 6 months it was gone. And that's because when you're in love, that beginning of being in love, your immune system is boosted by the great thoughts you think. Orgasm boosts your immune system massively. Deep, rhythmic breathing boosts your immune system. So don't let anyone tell you that your immune system is fixed and you don't have any power to change it. You have massive, incredible, phenomenal power to have a strong immune system. Believe that you can impact and influence your immune system, and you certainly will. Believe that, and then take some actions. Eat the right foods, take some supplements, take B vitamins, D vitamins that are really good for your lungs. Take zinc in the winter, take vitamin C, eat better, sleep better, hydrate better. More than anything, think better thoughts, because every thought you think has a physical reaction and an emotional response. What you expect tends to be realized. These are rules of your mind. Use those rules. Think better thoughts, expect great health, and you know what? You'll very, very likely get just that. Maybe my only challenge, but even then it's not a challenge, is I would say half the medical profession love what I do and really go for it and go, oh my God, this is amazing, I'm using it with my own patients. And the other half go, this is all silly. You know, illness is caused by disease, that you can't talk yourself better. Talking to yourself doesn't make any difference. You can't possibly give birth just using positive affirmations. It's like if you had cancer and you had a very good oncologist who might go, look, you know, the way you think, the way you eat, the way you act, the way you rest can all affect. And they'll go, nope, you got cancer, chemotherapy, there's nothing else that will work. And all that stuff is hocus pocus. Right. So that is a challenge, but it's not so much, because I find so many doctors love what I do and go, wow, you know, all these illnesses are autoimmune illnesses. Many years ago, there was a wonderful psychiatrist in London called Dr. Maudsley, and he had a great expression, it's always been my favorite, and it says, the feeling that cannot find its expression in tears may cause other organs to weep. So he knew 100 years ago.
That's beautiful.
So beautiful and so true.
The feeling that
cannot find its expression in tears will cause other organs to weep. So he's sort of saying, if you don't feel the feeling, your body's going to feel it. If you don't open your mouth and say, you hurt me, don't be surprised if you get a screaming. I've got this screaming headache. I've got this angry red rash. I've got this thumping pain. And by the words they're using, angry, screaming, they're saying, I have rage that can't come out.
I'm not expressing it, but it's expressed through my body.
Yeah, because the body is very clever at finding something. I worked with someone who couldn't walk, and all she was, I can't stand that. I can't stand my ex, I can't stand my life, I can't stand my kids, and you can't stand up. Isn't that interesting?
Oh, wow.
She had sort of phantom leg pains because she couldn't stand anything. Believe me, it's also, well, what makes me sick is my sister-in-law. Oh, I'm so sick of her. She just makes me sick. I vomit in my mouth every time I hear her voice, and then they wonder why they're bulimic.
Right.
Because our words really affect our reality, partly because, and it's such an easy thing to say, every word you say is a blueprint that your mind, body, and psyche are working to make your reality. So we make our thoughts, and our thoughts make us, then we go out into the world and we justify our thoughts every day. But our words are a blueprint, and when you know that, you think, well, I better pay attention to that blueprint. I better not say this kid is killing me. My job is making me want to die. I'm so stressed out by what? The queue in Hughes Market. Well, go to Zimbabwe where there is no Hughes Market, and there is no queue, and there's no money to buy food anyway. Then you can say you're stressed, because your problem, the queue in Erewhon and the bill, is someone else's fantasy dream come true. This freeway is killing you. You have a car. You have look at people on 4 buses. I used to take my daughter to school, and I remember one day thinking that, oh my God, this commute is hell. And I saw someone at a bus and thought, how lucky I'm in my car. I've got the heating. I've got a cup of tea. I've got an hour to listen to something. I can talk to my kid. I keep saying I want an hour to myself. Well, here it is. And I learned to stop doing that. But when you say, how are you? Oh, nightmare. It is torture. What? The traffic. Yeah, the traffic, the queue. People keep ringing me, the phone ringing. It's torture. Well, maybe if it didn't ring, that might be worse. Some of my clients who are models will say, my life is hell because people look at me. It's like, really? Well, one day they won't, and then you might miss it. Yeah, but I get on a plane and guys hit on me. It's a nightmare. Well, put on a baseball hat and glasses, read a book. Then they'll leave you alone. But that's not a nightmare, it's just mildly inconvenient. It's not hell.
Right.
It's not killing you, but we use these incredible words. This is torture, this is killing me, this is a disaster. What is? Well, I went to the bathroom and I forgot to pause my movie. Well, that's not a disaster. But when you use those words, because your mind can't differentiate, just to feel like it really is a disaster.
The flip side of this, the beautiful part, if we, when we understand and appreciate that our thoughts become reality,
our things,
we can create the life of our dreams as well.
Absolutely.
We can start to manifest our thoughts by visualizing, by telling ourselves what we want, who we want to become, and then taking those actions toward it. We can manifest our dreams.
You really can. You can stop being ill. You can change the shape of your body. You can change your digestion. You can have physical things. You can change the way you interact with your kids. So here's a good example. My kid is a nightmare. Change that to my child as age appropriate.
There you go.
This builder's going to go, oh my God, that's a disaster. But a good builder will go, it's a challenge. When you said talking to girls is terrifying, you just change that to it's challenging. But hey, there's hundreds of girls out there. It's a numbers game. One will say yes.
Some will say hi. Yeah.
And even if they say no, the only risk in life is not to take the risk. That's the risk. If you don't, when you take the risk and it goes wrong, you learn something.
It gives you feedback for how to show up differently the next time. My girlfriend's a doctor of physical therapy, and when she works on people, she would agree with everything you're saying, because people's bodies are so tight, not because of something they tore or something sore, but it's because they're holding on to something emotionally. And she says once they start to talk, their bodies relax and the pain goes away.
I know
all the
that
pain
to be
where
true.
they can't lift their shoulder, they can't turn their neck, once they let it out their feelings about their relationship or their insecurities or whatever it may be, that's when they have a pain-free body.
Because the body keeps score. The body holds on to pain and stress and tension and grief. And we carry around all this stuff, and yet we really don't have to if just more people knew. Even to say I'm enough every day. And to say, another of my favorite things goes, I'm choosing this and I'm choosing to feel great. I'm choosing to work on my website all weekend. I'm choosing to go to the gym. I don't love it, but I love having a six-pack. I'm choosing to say no to Krispy Kreme donuts and yes to apples.
Love Krispy Kremes.
Do you?
I could eat 12 of them right now. Oh, they're so good. But I choose to eat healthy. And if you say, I'm choosing to do this and choosing to feel great about it, your mind has a very clear image. The way you feel about everything is down to two things: the pictures you make in your head and the words you say, just if there's nothing else. So if you choose to run, going, I'm running, so I'm raising money for charity, so I'm going to complete this run. Even though my feet hurt, my knee hurts because I'm going to raise money. But you could run going, oh, I hate this. I could be at home watching Netflix, I haven't eaten, and now my knee hurts, and then you'll have to stop. So when you keep saying, I'm choosing it. So if you're an Olympic athlete, you would choose to get up at 4 a.m. and train. If you are a diabetic, you choose to put a needle in your arm. If you wear lenses, you choose to jab your finger in your eye. But you don't go, oh, I hate it. I can't accept it and I can't change it. And when you say I'm choosing to study, to work on, to go and talk to this girl I really like, or to put good food in my body, and I'm choosing to feel great about that too, there is no resistance. When you go, I want donuts and I can't have them, I've got to eat this freaking rabbit food. What your mind does is it increases the desire for donuts, because you said, I want donuts, but I can't have them. I want pizza, I'm eating kale. I can't have these, but I choose to do this because
I can eat pizza every day. When I'm 95, I'm going to knock myself out with pizza. But right now, I actually want to look really good in my clothes, maybe out of them too. So I'll save the pizza when I'm 80, because that door is probably shut then anyway. Then you can have loads of pizza.
Every day.
But you have to reason with your mind and negotiate, and your mind will always do what it thinks you want. That's its job. And if you could only tell your mind what you want using relevant, up-to-the-minute words, you'll get exactly what you want.
What do you struggle with telling your mind? Is there anything that you...
It took me a long time to tell my mind not to eat sugar. I still look at it and go, it looks so nice.
That's me.
But I still look at candy. The other day I was really tired, and I went into a shop to get a coffee, and they had jars of jellies, and I thought I could eat all of those.
All of it.
But I'm choosing not to, and I just had the coffee. So working out, we're on a schedule, sometimes just finding the time to go to the gym or do yoga and making the time. Yeah, that's probably the only two, really eating healthy food all the time, even on a plane, even sometimes where there is no healthy food, then you've got to wait and choosing to make myself exercise when I don't want to. But other than that, nothing really, because I couldn't do what I do unless I was really good at dialoguing with my mind. Is my best friend. It's the best PA I've ever had, and it does what I want because I give it clear instructions.
What do you say yourself on a daily basis? Is there like a process in the morning, afternoon, and night, or what would it be like?
Actually, when I wake up, the first thing I would say is I love my life. I love my linen, I love my cup of tea. I always wake up going, I love my life. And then when I go, I love this tea, I love the coffee, I love the shower gel in my shower. Because I really believe that if you can make your mind get excited by little things, then big things every day is like Christmas. And I think when you wake up, you should go, oh, what have I got today? Oh, a world of stress. I've got this. So you should always wake up and go, I love my life. I'm alive in a free country. I've got all this stuff to make tea. And life is great. So I do that. But the second thing I do is I tend to stay in bed and do all my emails, because then I feel like I'm not working. Because I'm in bed, propped up, drinking my tea, and I get all of that out of the way. Yes,
not
very
stressed.
relaxed.
It's more relaxed.
Not stressed. I try not to have to rush to go to bed, but sometimes I do. And I mean, I'm very lucky because I love what I do, and I do what I love. People say you work really hard. I go, I've never worked a day in my life. I don't know what that is. I don't have to go, my life is a weekend. People say, oh, the weekend. I go, what's a weekend? I can take time off. I mean, I love my job because I get to make such a difference. So I don't really have much to moan about. Maybe communicating with my daughter is sometimes a challenge because I'm so positive that she occasionally wants me to be super negative.
Why is that?
Well, I guess because you have to be the opposite of your parents. So I do all these positive. She's an artist and she does lots of negative statements on her paintings, on her T-shirts, because that's the deal. You've got to be the opposite of your parents. But I understand that. But she's great. But really, I don't have much to complain about.
You have a positive conversation with yourself pretty much 24/7.
Yeah.
What about a nightly routine? Do you have thoughts that you say to yourself?
Well, you see, for me, I really believe that first it's what you do and then it's who you are. So first you're doing it and then it's who you are, and it's so who you are that it wouldn't occur to you to have to make yourself do it. See, I would never sit on the couch and go, my case is lost, I just know it, it's all going to go wrong. There's no cabs out there, this is a horrible flight. I now have a belief, and it really achieved me, that there's no such thing as being bored. If my flight is late, I mean, I just get on my laptop, on my phone. I mean, I have 24-hour entertainment, empty out my emails, look at something. The days of having to wait and being bored, even waiting in the car, my little phone is like everything, books, messages, videos. And so I love that. I don't really mind about missing stuff and being late anymore. In fact, when I was last landing here 2 weeks ago, I was hoping the premiere because I was so into this movie. So, no,
hopefully it's delayed. Yeah.
It was delayed. When the pilot said we've got to go around for a film, I was like, oh, that's so great. Yes. That's exactly how long is left of this movie. But I think it's important for people to understand that it isn't what you do. It's a bit like people who say, I've done yoga every day and now it's just my soul. Like Meghan Markle said that yoga is in my soul. I don't do yoga. Yoga is part of my life. It's like you don't say, I walk my dog. If you've had a dog for 20 years, you just get up, pick up the lead, and it's who you are, not what you do. And so for me, it really isn't what I do because it's so a part of me. And I like it, and so I'm quite lucky that I'm pretty happy and positive, but I really do love my life, and that's a good thing.
Was there ever something in the last 10 years that questioned everything that you've done, or that questioned your ability to say, I love my life, you know?
Well, I did get very sick like a year ago, and I thought, wow, how could that happen? You know, I'm so happy and positive and eat well, so I was a bit surprised when I got sick. But then I thought,
how did you get through that?
The same thing, the thinking, the belief. I decided I'd focus on massive healing. I kept telling my body that it was a cancer-fighting machine. I was making all these NK killer cells. And I did actually go home the next day. I was on stage a week later, and my doctor was like, wow, you become the poster girl for just going on with your life. And now I look at one particular YouTube and think that's so bizarre. I had like major surgery just a week before that, and you'd never know. But again, it's a belief. I decided I do wellness. I said to the hospital, I need to go home. I got into my own bed. I watched Ray Donovan. I thought, this is it. I'm doing wellness here. I'm not going to lie in that bed where they keep trying to give you pills. Right. And I didn't feel any pain at all because I just kept telling my body to heal itself. And then later I thought, maybe it's good I got that because I can help other people. And I go, look, you know, life throws stuff at you, but you get to choose how to deal with it.
Yeah.
And even then I noticed that I was very positive because I had actually got womb cancer. I thought, well, a stroke of luck to get womb cancer. I don't need a womb. It's done its job. I've had a great kid. I talked to my womb and said, thanks for giving me this great kid. But now I've got to get rid of you because I've got to stay here and raise this great kid. Wow. And I thought, that's good. I mean, imagine if you get brain cancer or bone cancer. I felt very lucky. It was a disposable organ. They'd done a great job. I didn't need it. And so I think once you become like that, it's just who you are. So I never had, oh my God, I'm going to die. Because I thought, no, I'm not going anywhere.
Mm-hmm. It's all perspective, yeah.
It is all perspective. I mean, I still, people would say to me, but I thought you were so healthy. How could you get that? As it turns out, I have that same gene that Angelina Jolie has. But then, of course, Bruce Lipton would tell you can turn off a gene. You can mentally remove that gene. So even with adversity, because it's quite good in a way, because people think, oh, you're like Pollyanna, just tripping along, having a wonderful life. That's not true. I've still had adversity. But your mind will always kick in when it's well trained and go, this is a blip. Just a blip, just carry on. And so you got to train your mind like you train a horse. I always say your mind's like a Ferrari. And if you've never driven a Ferrari, it's going to go all over the place. But if you have Ferrari driving lessons, you're going to run that Ferrari. The Ferrari should not be running you. If you get on a horse you've never ridden, it's going to go everywhere. But if you have some horse riding skills, you say go there, and it goes. So I see my mind like a horse, and I am the rider, but I'm going to tell my mind where to go, and it's going to do it.
You're fascinating. I love this. And you've got a book coming out right now called #IamEnough. Mark your mirror and change your life. Tell me a little bit about this.
Well, that's been my life's work, mark your mirror and change your life. It was actually lipstick your mirror and change your life, because I used to teach people to write on their mirror, I'm enough. One of my graduates was saying that the removal man that was removing, I said, why have you got that on your mirror? And she told me, I need a session with you this week. And my plumber was saying, why have you got that on your mirror? And I said, well, everybody wants to change the world, but that's the big ask. I want to change people one soul at a time. And I'm enough changes people. People write to me and say, it's just 3 words, but oh my God, the difference it's made. And so I told my plumber, and he came back and said, I had this really nerdy, unhappy son. He's now still nerdy, but he's a happy nerd. He's got a happy, nerdy girlfriend. He's created a happy, nerdy club. My wife, who is in the menopause, is so different because we've got it on the fridge, on the mirrors, and a lot of parents write to me and say, wow, I put that in my kids' bathroom and had them say it, and they've just suddenly become bulletproof against being bullied. And so I've always been in love with the I'm enough, because when you're a therapist, you're always working with what lies beneath these people's problems. It's always the same. I don't feel smart enough, rich enough, good enough. And when you say things like I'm a rock star, mine goes, not really a rock star, because come on, you live in a shared apartment and you've got a car that's 11 years old. You shop in Target, that's not a rock star.
Right.
I'm a goddess, because you're not really a goddess, because you've got cellulite. But when you say I'm enough, its strength is its simplicity and its honesty. Because you are enough. You're not your weight, your shape, your size, your bank account, your childhood.
Your race.
You're enough. And the thing is, when you say it, and really say it, speak it, and let it in, people pick up your enoughness and believe it. So within that book, you'll see that we get people to change their password so they contain I'm enough. Obviously with some letters and numbers and squiggles, we can't all have I'm enough. It'd be a hacker's dream come true. But you write it all over your mirrors. You put it on your fridge, you put it on your screen. You have your phone alerts go off twice a day. And when you type it out in your password, when you write it, read it, say it, think it, it goes in and does the most incredible work, because when you feel enough, you can talk to people. You don't risk rejection because you can't be rejected. You take risks. People say, but if I'm enough, don't just lie on the sofa and eat potato chips. No. When you know you're enough, you think, I'm enough, I'm going to build this company, get a raise, get a promotion, release my book. I'm going to invent this thing I've had in my head for years. I'm going to ask that girl or guy out. I'm going to stand up to my kid's teacher who I think is terrifying me because they're not terrifying. So I'm enough just opens so many doors and makes you like yourself, because if you don't like yourself, nothing counts. Nothing you have is enough, and that's what's behind so many people. We think of everything who become suicidal.
Right.
But I'm enough. Its strength is its simplicity, but also its absolute truthfulness, because everyone's enough. And the minute you know it, the whole world knows it, and they treat you differently. You see, we think, I'll buy a Porsche, and then I'm going to say, look, I'm enough, I've got a Porsche.
Still not.
I'll get an Armani jacket, or I'll get breast implants or lip implants, and then I'm saying I'm enough. But we see lots of people who've got all of that and are desperately, desperately unhappy, because everything you want is because it might make you feel enough. When you can feel enough without the stuff, now you've won. And then you'll get the stuff anyway, but you only get the stuff because you want it, not because you need it to feel enough. Yeah. So if someone said to me, I keep buying all these Jo Malone candles to feel enough, I'm like, but you've got 22. And if they've worked, why would you need 26? You've got 18 pairs of shoes to feel enough. Do you think 19 is going to make any difference? Stuff can't make you feel enough. It's out there. Feeling enough is in here, and when you know you're enough, you can still love a pair of shoes. Believe me, I love a nice pair of shoes, but I never buy them to feel enough, because I'm enough without them.
Powerful.
It's very powerful.
It's amazing.
Yeah, because it's true.
And so they can get the book, #I'mEnough. You can go to your website and get it there, right?
Yeah.
Or Amazon. What's your website?
You can go to marisapeer.com. We have lots of free stuff there. We have self-esteem downloads and money downloads and relationship. We give them all away. And you can buy I'm Enough, the book. There's also a program. You can also get it on Amazon, I'm Enough. And then you can start to hashtag and create the movement. Send me from all over the world what it is in your country. We get people sending us pictures of their kids doing paintings of I'm Enough and writing it somewhere, planting flowers in their garden that come up and spell out I'm Enough. So nice.
Amazing. And it sounds like you don't work with many clients today, but how could people work with you or one of your students?
Yeah, I work with clients if it's a very unusual or particularly deserving case, but actually I don't need to see clients anymore, because I used to really know I had a gift for what I do, but the way I teach my method is something that you can replicate, and we have amazing therapists all over the world, many in Los Angeles who are so good. I mean, getting phenomenal results with people with impetigo and vitiligo and ringing in the ears, tinnitus, all kinds of stuff, depression, anxiety, insomnia. So if you want to have some amazing RTT therapy, and it is amazing, again, just go to marisapeer.com, or you can go to Rapid Transformational Therapy.com, and you can find someone who will change your life in 90 minutes.
It's a 90-minute session.
Might be 3 sessions.
Might
If
be
you
a few
had,
sessions, but
if
it's
you had
not a year's.
bipolar, oh no.
Yeah.
If you had bipolar or bulimia, 3 sessions. If you
Wow.
have insomnia or nail biting or anxiety, 1 session.
Wow.
Yeah, it's because it's so powerful and it's permanent. And you get your own audio recording to wire in the changes, and it is
That's
a revolutionary therapy, but I'm so proud of it. But I learned it from my clients, you know.
Yeah.
I learned what worked with real clients in real time that created stunning turnaround. I thought, oh, this works, I'll teach that to everyone else, because it's always your clients that teach you everything.
Right. You had to learn, and some things worked, some things didn't.
Yeah.
You kept growing. Yeah.
They would always say, oh my God, when you got me to praise myself, or when you got me to not let it increase, and when you got me to go back to my boyfriend and go, that hurt my feelings. Wow. Somebody said to me, you know, that I'm enough. Those words got me to walk out of my marriage, walk into a building, ask for a job, got the job, walk back to my apartment, ask the super if he'd rent me something else, and took my kids away from a violent man, and it was just those words that got it all started. And so people write to me and tell me that, and it's really nice.
Amazing. This is a question I ask everyone at the end. It's called the 3 truths. So I want you to imagine you get to pick the day that it's your last day on earth. It could be as far away as you want it to be, and you've achieved everything you want, or you've created everything you want. All the books, the talks, hundreds of thousands of therapists have taken your program, whatever you want, you've created it. But for whatever reason, you've got to take all of your work with you on this last day.
Right.
Celebration, you've got to take it with you. And all you get to do is write down on a piece of paper the 3 things you know to be true about all of your experiences. These 3 lessons that then you would share with the world, since there's nothing else that they have access to.
Yeah.
What would you say are your 3 truths?
I think that would be you're always enough and never forget it. Because when you know it, the whole world knows it, and the world will believe what you believe about you. I'd also say you make your beliefs, and then your beliefs make you, and then you go out into the world and it starts to mirror whatever you believe. So make your beliefs amazing. Make your beliefs good. Like if you believe that dogs bite you, you make that belief and then you act badly around dogs, and then dogs pick up your anxiety and they do bite you because you've made them nervous. If you believe dogs are wonderful and loyal and man's supposed to go, oh, I love dogs, the dog will love you, because our beliefs, our thoughts become feelings, and they resonate out from us and back to us, events that always match up our thoughts and beliefs. And when you know that, all you have to do is change your thoughts and beliefs and make them positive. It's like there's not enough money. There's enough money for everyone. There's more than enough. But your belief that, well, if I have more, you get less, and spiritual people shouldn't ask for money, and it's arrogant, and I'm not worth it. If you make that belief, that's your blueprint. Why don't you make a belief that if I have more money, other people get to benefit too? And there's more than enough for everyone. Because there really is.
Yeah. Powerful.
Yeah.
Wow.
And true.
And true, if you believe it to be true.
Yeah. You are what you believe. It says that in the Bible, man is what he believes. But it doesn't say, well, so go ahead and make great beliefs then. And women too.
That should be the second thing.
That should be the second thing. So that's what I would say if I had one day left. You are what you believe, and you get to choose whatever you believe. I know what I'd say. You can choose whatever you wish, negative, positive. You get to choose. What you can't choose is what you do to your body and your health when you're negative. You can't choose that. I could say I'm just a negative person, but over here is a positive person. We all can choose to do that, but you can never choose how you ruin your health, defeat your immune system, paralyze your autoimmune system, affect your nervous system. What goes on in your body when you're negative is horrific, because the body can't choose. It has to react to negative. You make cortisol, that's a stress hormone. That shuts down fertility. It lays down fat. So all the stuff you're doing when you're negative, giving yourself heart attacks and strokes and high blood pressure, all because you're choosing to be negative, when if you come over to the positive world, which is so much better, you have better health. You live longer. You look 20 years younger. That's a good thing too, because all the stress leaves your face.
That's it.
You don't have to take laxatives and all those antacids and stuff that people take because of their thinking.
This is amazing. I know my audience is going to love this. So I want to acknowledge you, Marisa, for teaching in such a way that is simple.
Somebody recently wrote to me and said, I'm really confused. I'm a positive person, and my team are complaining about me now, because when they come in and say, well, my cat just died, I go, well, hey, you can get another one. There's so many cats that need homes. Or I might say, I'm really upset that things aren't working out with my boyfriend. They go, oh, that will pass. And the complaint was that these people don't feel heard. So this was a boss at work, and every time her clients came in and said, I'm going through the menopause and I feel awful, they went, oh, well, that's nothing. Just put on a happy face and smile and pretend it doesn't matter. It's like that song, Smile When Your Heart is Breaking. It's all worthwhile if you just smile. But you see, that's not strictly true, because as humans, we need to be heard. We need so much to feel heard, and we need people to be present with us. And when you go to your mother, your father, your boss, your partner, and say, I feel so sad, they go, what have you got to feel sad about? Just put on a happy face, turn that frown upside down. We don't feel heard. And I really believe in being positive, but occasionally I also understand sometimes we need to feel grief. We need to express sadness. We need to say, I'm having a really bad day today. I just feel terrible. You know, yesterday my little cat was attacked by 2 dogs and it was horrible. And for the whole night I kept saying to my husband, I keep seeing her little face. I feel so bad that I didn't get her in sooner. It was just becoming dusk and I should have pulled her in, and I wish I'd done this and that. And he didn't go, oh, never mind, let's be positive. There are lots more cats that you can find, because I needed to express that grief. Many, many years ago, my daughter and I were feeding ducks. And my daughter, I don't know how this happened to this day because we're behind a fence, but she somehow fell in the water. And I took off my shoes and jumped in and got her out and took her home to my mother. We were visiting her. And my daughter kept saying, Mummy, I thought those ducks were coming to eat me. Mummy, why did you take off your shoes before you jumped in the water? Were you worried about your shoes getting wet? I said, oh no, darling. My shoes were too heavy. I needed to get you as fast as I can. And my mum started to go, don't talk about it anymore. Stop talking about it. I said, no, Mum. She clearly needs to express this. She needs to tell me that she thought I cared about my shoes more than her. She needed me to express everything to her. And if I did the toxic positive, it's all good, let's never mention it, everything is great, everything is fine, I would have never understood that I had to validate my daughter's fears. And occasionally when something happens that's awful, we need people to say, you know, I thought I was going to die, I thought I was going to get sick. Hey, I've got a lump, I think I might have cancer. No, don't worry about that, you don't have cancer. And even if you did, you can meditate and wave crystals around and do all this stuff. You see, when someone is ill, when someone has cancer, they need you to say, what can I do? One of my friends said that the thing that annoyed him the most is whenever he told someone he had cancer, they go, oh, you'll be fine. And you go, how do you know? And he got very defensive. How do you know? How can you possibly say that? So when someone tells you, I'm worried about being ill, I'm worried about my partner, I'm worried about my kid, don't go, it'll all be fine, don't worry, or even worse, I know how you feel. I had a client whose son was run over, and she said, you know what drives me crazy? People go, I know how you feel. And I want to go, really? Has your son been run over? No. Then how could you ever know how they would feel? And as a therapist, people come into me and say, you know, my last therapist, they would say things like, you'll be fine, it's okay, I know how you feel. And people come to me and say, my child died. I tell them the truth, you know what? Your life will never be quite the same again. You will have moments of joy. This grief will pass, but it will always be different. It will be happy at times, and you'll still have pleasure, but it won't be the same. And I never ever say, I know how you feel, because I don't know how it feels. I never want to know how that feels. So the toxic positivity is not listening to someone's grief, not hearing someone's pain, not saying, gosh, that sounds awful. What can I do? Can I be an ear? Can I help you in any way? I feel so helpless. My husband yesterday said, I feel so helpless about our little cat. And I said, no, you're doing great because you understand and you've cancelled your day just to take her to the vet, and you understand how I feel. And I loved that for him, because he loved me enough to recognize my worry and to, so he never said, well, let's go and get another one. There are cats all over LA that we can find another one. If someone comes and says, my dog's just been run over, you wouldn't go, well, get another one. So the toxic positivity is not tuning into someone's need to talk. And remember what people need. They need to be heard, and they need you to be present with them. When someone comes to you as a boss, as a parent, as a partner and says, I feel worried, I feel sad, I feel terrible. When someone says, I feel really unattractive, don't go, oh, you look great. When someone says, I have postnatal depression, don't go, you've just got a baby. What have you got to be depressed about? That's like saying to somebody, what have you got to be diabetic about? You see, here's the thing about your feelings, and it's such a wonderful saying. You must feel your feelings until they no longer require to be felt. You can't Netflix your feelings. You can't eat your feelings. You can't drink them. You can't medicate them. You can't shop them. You can try, but when you try to eat your feelings, they just regroup and come back stronger and stronger until you take a minute and say, you know what, today I'm feeling sad. I'm feeling bereft. I'm feeling guilty. I'm feeling so bad. I'm feeling bad because I didn't get my cat in at dusk, which I always do. They were having such fun. I left them out there for a few minutes too long, and one of them nearly got killed, and I feel bad and I feel guilty. But that feeling will make sure I never, ever, ever do that again. So that feeling has taught me a valuable lesson. If my husband said, oh, don't feel guilty, oh, that's silly, but he didn't. He listened, and actually he agreed with me, but not in a bad way. So first of all, you must feel your own feelings until they no longer require to be felt. And then you must hear someone else's. When someone says, I feel so broken-hearted, my partner left, go, well, he was rubbish. You're so much better off with him. You'll find someone else, plenty more fish in the sea. That is toxic positivity. You're trying to help, of course, by saying, no, you'll find someone else. They were no good. I never liked him. Anyway, guess what? They weren't even nice about you. No, you say, let me hear you out. How awful. You feel abandoned. You feel left. You feel replaced. That's terrible. But remember something. You know, everything that person loved in you when they packed their bags and left, guess what? They didn't take it with them. It's still there. And you need to go through feeling bereft, feeling sad, feeling lonely, and then eventually you'll find someone better. But first you have to feel the feeling. You know, one of my clients, when she told someone her child had died, they said, well, lucky you've got 4 others. It must hurt less. She said, what? It doesn't hurt less. It's terrible. I've lost my child. When someone said I had a miscarriage, they go, well, you never really got to know that baby. It wasn't really a person. You know, it was only the size of a tangerine. That is toxic positive. You can have another one. Many years ago, my lovely father and I were having a conversation. He said to me, I never, ever worry about you. I know you'll be great. And I said, but I want you to worry about me. That doesn't feel great that you never worry about me. I didn't really hear what he was saying. I heard, oh, I don't worry about you. And I wanted him to worry about me. When I speak to my daughter on the phone, I say, you sound a little sad today. She goes, Mum, I'm fine. I'm like, okay, well, that's good. But, you know, my job is to worry about you. You don't have to tell me anything, but, you know, I'm always here for you. And I'll always worry about you because you're my beautiful child. It's my job to worry about you. I know how I felt when my dad said, I never worry about you. And I decided I would never do that to my children. So I do the opposite, not excessively. And when people come to you with issues that you think are silly and trivial and pointless, toxic positivity, to disregard them and to try and make it positive, you must listen. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth because we're supposed to listen more and speak less. And you can be a positive person, really positive, but don't be toxic positive. Don't not tune in to what other people that matter to you are feeling. Listen, be open, remember that people want to be heard. You know what else they want to feel? Significant. They want to feel they matter. And if you don't listen to people's worries, they're going to feel they don't matter to you. And if they matter to you, then what they feel also matters. You know, my mother, her entire life would ring me up and go, I've got another illness, I've got this wrong and that wrong. And my mother was lovely but a hypochondriac. And the first thing I did was go, hey Mum, I'm here to about a headache. I know this great person. Can I send you that? I've heard of this great treatment for your allergies. But I realized that as I got her something to fix an allergy, she just got something else. You know what my mother needed me to do? She needed me to go, oh, I hate that for you. That's awful. You just got rid of one illness and now you got another one. And I learned to do what I call the strong voice, because that's what my mother wanted. She didn't want me to fix her. She didn't want me to recommend a doctor, pay for a doctor, pay for drugs, no. She just wanted to be heard. And my life was improved when I said, oh, that's terrible, another illness, poor you. It must feel awful to always be ill and have to take so many pills, because that's what she wanted to hear. And I gave her what she wanted, which was not positivity. One day, my daughter called me and said, Mummy, you got a headache. And I said, okay, well, we have some lavender oil. She goes, Mummy, I just want to take medicine like all my friends. I don't want lavender oil or peppermint oil or homeopathic or hypnosis. I just want Calpol like all my friends. So I gave her some. That's what she wanted. I listened to her. She felt less important. All her friends got this pink syrupy medicine. She got lavender oil on the forehead, which worked, but she didn't want it. I gave her a tiny bit of medicine because she wanted it. If someone says, I want you to come with me to the doctor, hold my hand, I want you to call me after and say, hey, what happened? Are you okay? Give them what they want. I go, I know you'll be fine, and by the way, you can meditate. And I don't even believe in illness, and I believe in never discussing it. That's what you want. But it isn't always what other people want. We want to be heard. We want to feel significant. We need to know that we are enough for you to listen to us, allow us to vent, or share our worries without you running around fixing them or shutting us down, going, well, let's not mention it, let's not discuss it, it's never going to happen, it's all for the best. Recently, I heard someone in the back of a car say to someone else, you know, you're bringing this all on yourself. And they were so upset. And I had to intervene and say, look, even if you believe that to be true, it's not a very kind thing to say. This person was talking about how every person let them down, and the other person said, well, you must be creating that. It's your fault. You know it, you can manifest that or not, and that was toxic positivity. The better way is to say, I'm so sorry this is happening. It must feel terrible. It must be awful. How sad to always be let down. And then later say, you know, I wonder if there's something you might be doing that you don't know you're doing that's contributing to always be letting down. It's awful to be let down. It's not your fault, but perhaps we could have a look at something that may be going on here. That's kinder, and that's kind positivity, not toxic positivity. So if you think one of your friends, colleague, family members is a hypochondriac or an excessive worrier, don't say, you know, all of this can be fixed easily with positive thinking. First go into with them, where's this coming from? How is it serving them? And then at the end you can suggest, you know, positive thinking could help you with this. Could I help you to just change a few of your thoughts, because it may help with the hypochondria or the illness or the worry or the anxiety, but do it with kindness. Someone else's world is not your world. You can have your world of being super positive. That's my world, by the way. But I see people every day with issues, and I never go, oh, hey, let's just be super positive, because that annoys them, it upsets them. They don't feel heard. I listen, I hear them, I acknowledge them, and then I gently introduce them to something by saying, do you notice you always say, I always get headaches? I could do this, but that never works. Nothing ever works for me. I look at why they're saying that, and I help them, but I do it with kindness, niceness, warmth, and empathy. I don't ever try to be superior, and I don't ever go, you're doing this all wrong, you know, here's the right way. Because if it's right for me, that doesn't mean it's right for them. So a feeling is something you feel. It's come from the body. Suddenly, I've seen a snake and I've seen a rat and I feel repulsed. I remember seeing a rat in my house and I felt, ugh, a rat. Horrible. I mean, I could pick up a hamster. I could pick up a little gerbil. You know, I could hold a butterfly, or I could hold a ladybug, because the picture is this is cute. But I wouldn't hold a cockroach or a dung-eating beetle. I wouldn't hold a moth. And so when you get a feeling, you've got a picture, and you feel scared. And the feeling is so instant that we think the feeling comes immediately. So a feeling, you have to talk yourself out of a feeling. Thoughts are also pretty instant, but you can change them very quickly. I'm going on a date, I feel terrified. No, actually I don't. I feel excited. I got a choice. Feel terrified, feel excited. You know, one of my clients was a very famous rock star, and he had to pay someone to push him on stage. So he'd get all ready, super excited. He's at LA Bowl or the O2, got the guitar, just about to go, and he thinks, oh my God, I can't do this. Because he's got the feeling of absolute fear. And so up comes a guy whose job it is to push him on stage, and he begins to do that, and then he feels great. But that feeling would have overwhelmed him if he hadn't decided, I'm just going to feel the feeling and carry on. So, you know, feelings, we think we're a victim of our feelings. We're not. You can choose to interpret a feeling, and thoughts, you have to make sense of them. But here's an interesting rule. Your thoughts control your feelings. Your feelings control your actions. And your actions control your events. Or you could say your thoughts dictate your feelings. Your feelings dictate your actions, and your actions dictate your events. So that actually says the thought comes first, even before the feeling.
Really?
The thought comes first. And then comes the feeling, and then comes the action. So all the laws go back to change your thoughts. We try to say, I'm going to change this. I feel so sad. I'm going to change that. I feel so lonely. I feel so unhappy. But actually, if you change your thinking, it will take care of the feeling.
You won't feel that way.
No. It's like if you go and watch a roller coaster, people are screaming. Are they screaming because they're terrified or happy? Who knows? But you get to choose what you think about that. It's a bit like, you know, I think I told you this story before about one of my clients who had breast cancer, and she said, well, I feel so lucky because I don't need a breast. I need a leg and an arm and an eye, but I don't need that. And sometimes with the strangest things that happen, if you can look back and go, oh, well, how I thought about that event affected me way more than the event. It's always how you think about it. Yeah.
The meaning behind it.
So we're taught that we can't change our feelings. Our feelings come upon us, and there's nothing we can do. But we're taught that our thoughts, well, maybe we can run those, but it's not true. You can change your feelings and your thoughts. And if you change your thoughts, you change your feelings. If you change your feelings, it doesn't change your thoughts. So a lot of people go, you know, I'm really nervous, so I'm going to like jump up and down and take some deep breaths and breathe into a brown paper bag because I heard that was good, and I'm doing all of that. So I'm controlling the feelings, but the thoughts come back. So let's say you said I'm terrified of birds or dogs, and if I saw one, I'd have a heart attack.
Right.
A little bird landing on my table, no, I don't even go to outside restaurants because a little bird, that would kill me, or dogs. I don't like cats. See, these are thoughts. Now, if you try to say to someone, look, but it's such a cute little dog, it's such a sweet little bird, it can't hurt you, because the feelings are going on, you believe that's not true. But when you change the thoughts, the feeling does go away completely, which is why, again, people can have a little pet gerbil and be terrified of a mouse. It's why you could eat lamb but not horse. I mean, I would never eat foal, I wouldn't eat donkey, I wouldn't eat pony, I wouldn't eat baby elephant, but I eat lamb. I don't eat lamb very often, but I'm not a vegan. I was for a long time, and a vegetarian. It's the thinking. So a vegan would go, I could never eat anything with a face, but the thought is there, and then they would feel sick if they ate anything with a face. So if I had a big lump of meat in my hand now, what do you think about that? Well, if you're a vegan, you think that's disgusting. That was a living, sentient creature. If you're a Hindu, you think that's so offensive. That's a sacred animal. If you're a bodybuilder, you go, great, protein. If you're starving, think protein. If I had a syringe in my hand right now, what is that? Well, if you're having a tattoo, it's very exciting. It's the way to get inked all over your arm. If you're in immense pain, fantastic, it's going to take the pain away. If you're a drug addict, that's like, oh yes, I'm going to get off my face now. And if you're scared of needles, It's like, oh, I faint at the sight of needles. I can't even look at, I've got raging tooth. I'm not going to the dentist ever because I don't like needles. So it's not the needle, is it? It's not the lump of meat. It's what you think about it dictates what you feel about it. So you don't have a feeling about the meat or the needle. You have a thought, and the thought dictates the feeling.
Is this why hypnotherapy is so powerful? Because if people can't change their thoughts themselves, then you can
does it for them,
get them to a relaxed state to allow them to think differently and say, oh, it's not that bad.
It's really powerful. I mean, proper hypnotherapy, the kind I do, and all therapy is good, but proper hypnotherapy excites the imagination. It doesn't say every day in every way you're getting better. It says you are elated and excited and thrilled and turned on by going to the gym, and you love work, and then you come home and you choose to eat the right food, and then you work on your business plan and you're so excited, and the right ideas take root and develop, and you formulate something amazing, and you monetize a gift, and you're just so successful. Because the mind loves exciting words. The words must be in the present tense. They must make a picture. And they must be powerful and dramatic, and even better, have powerful words in front of the words. So I give my clients the words they've always wanted to hear. That's all I do really. Is the first time I'm like a detective and I'm gathering information. They come in, or maybe I'm online, or maybe I'm teaching other people. And the first thing you do is you're an investigator. A detective lays out pictures and goes, oh, look at that, look at that. If I look at those, I understand what went wrong. So I'm a detective and I'm understanding what went wrong. And then straight away after that, all good hypnotherapists do this, particularly our TT, our Rapid Transformational Therapists. Investigate. They find an imprint. There's always an imprint, a scared child, an authority figure, and something that goes on. But then the next bit, which most therapists don't do, is you interpret that with your client. If you go, look, you do this because of that, they go, well, really? I went home and I told my mum, she said, that's rubbish. Of course you don't. I went home and told my husband, he said, I don't think that's true, and now I'm doubting it. And I used to do that. I'd go, okay, you do this because of that. And most people said, yes. But when I got my clients to do it with me, let's work. Why do you think you did it? They go, well, now you've mentioned it, of course. When I was 4, these twin brothers came along, and I can see that I felt replaced, usurped. No longer, I lost my status. I didn't know who I was.
So it's allowing the patient to investigate as well.
Yeah, and then, so they investigate, find the imprint, interpret, but then you interrupt it. You completely smash that idea out the park. Yes, I know when you were 2, when you were born, you weighed 3 pounds, you nearly died, your parents fed you with a dropper. If you broke through your mum cried hysterically and was on the phone to the doctor, and your dad would go, we've got to get this baby to eat, otherwise we're going to be back into the preemie ward. But now you're 42, you weigh 300 pounds, right. You're not going to die anymore. So you interrupt it, and you have to be funny and relevant, and also quite tough. It's not a good enough reason to keep doing that. Going to all-you-can-eat buffets is not a challenge. You're not supposed to eat as much as you possibly can because it's free, because there's no such thing as free. Take whatever you want and then pay for it. And when you eat all that food, they're losing it, but you're paying for it.
There's a price that you're paying for.
Yeah. So after you've done the investigate, imprint, interpret, interrupt, then you do what I call the installing. So you go from being a detective to like a doctor who's extracting all the toxic stuff. Then you become a coder, and you code in, and you wire in and firing. And the mind learns by repetition. The mind learns by repetition, and it only responds to words that make a picture. If you go, I'm not bad, me. I have good days and bad days. I'm all right. No, you have to go, I am the greatest. Muhammad Ali said, I told myself I was the greatest. I didn't even know I was. But I said it, and I became it. He could have gone, I'm not bad, me. Good days, bad days. Sometimes I'm all right, sometimes I'm good.
I will win. I am the best.
No one can beat me. He said that no one can beat me, which actually wasn't true. He was beaten, but he carried on saying it, and now we tend to think of him as the unbeaten Muhammad Ali, the person who never got it wrong. So when you meet people who say, I'm the best, I'm the greatest, I'm amazing, we forget that some of those actors did movies that were dreadful. We forget that they did some
They lost a
things wrong.
fight. Yeah, Conor McGregor's lost a few fights.
We just remember how good they were because they told us we were good. So the most important part of hypnotherapy are the two things. One is you must find the reason and remove it. And the second is you must put in really powerful words. And a lot of therapists
And do it repetitively over and over.
Yeah, about a 12 to 15 minute long audio, but it's got to be really exciting. And
Listen to it every day. Yeah.
21 days, if not every day. You can listen to it for 3 weeks and then it's gone in, it's wired in, it's fired in. You can then maybe a month later you've got some important interview, play it again. But a lot of people don't understand. They either go to therapy and they understand why, but they still do it because they don't do the new installation, or they do the installation without finding out why. So they buy all these recordings. And I know they work because somebody said, oh, I bought your recording for exam notes. And my kid, who was lying on the floor hysterical, just said, oh, I'm going to ace that exam. And she went in there and she did. So it does work. But when you do both, it works forever. And, you know, therapy is such a strange thing, and I'm not anti any therapist, but there's no other profession where they go, bring me your pain, and we'll talk about it. Nobody goes, hey, dentist, I got this terrible infection. Why don't you come in and we'll have a conversation about it every Wednesday at 3 o'clock? They go, we've got to get that infection out. No one says to their doctor, I think I've broken my arm. We can discuss that every week. How's the pain today? I don't know, I'm being facetious, but it's such a strange model. Let's discuss your pain every week until you get used to it, get to understand it, get familiar with it, or get past it. I'm like, why don't you just get past it straight away? Because if someone came to me and said, I have a chronic headaches, I wouldn't ever say, let me get rid of the headache today, right now. We use hypnosis, and we can certainly turn the pain right down, and then we can find out why you have it. But I would never say, well, let's discuss it. And so hypnotherapy is more powerful, I think, than any other therapy because it both removes the pain and removes the cause of the pain.
Yeah.
It takes away the pain and it takes away the cause. People say, but surely if you stop someone smoking, they bite their nails. You stop someone drinking, don't they go gambling?
They do something else, yeah.
No, if you do it properly, they never, ever do that because you take away the source of the pain and the pain. It's like you saying, I got weeds in my lawn, I mowed them, but 2 years later they came back. That's so weird. It's not really weird because you left the roots intact.
What's the main cause of most people smoking that keeps them addicted for so long? Is there a common theme?
Well, yeah, it's like everything, whether you're smoking, drinking, gambling, it's your belief. Like a lot of smokers, I can't go to the bathroom if I don't smoke. Well, what do they think non-smokers do? They go to the bathroom. They go, no, I can't relax if I don't smoke. I can't focus if I don't smoke. I can't digest a meal if I don't smoke. I mean, I've heard every single reason why people must smoke because, I mean, I worked with a famous writer and she said, I can't write without cigarettes. I'm like, is that where your talent lies? In a packet of Marlboro Lights? I didn't know that. I thought you were gifted. You just said, no, it's the Marlboro Lights. And she went, it's not the Marlboro Lights. I went, well, then stop telling yourself that it is. But it's the lies we tell ourselves. So smokers will say, I don't know what to do with my hands. Why don't you look at a non-smoker? Do what they do. Drinkers will say, I can't relax without a drink. I can't focus. I can't enjoy myself. Listeners will say, how could you live your life without chocolate? How could you enjoy your coffee without sugar? We lie to ourselves so much. And, you know, I do the opposite. Why don't you tell yourself a better lie? Why did you go, I love my life without sugar. It's thrilling. It's not true. I know, but if you say it every day, you know what happens? It becomes true. No one was more of a chocoholic than me. No one ate more sugar than me. Until I decided to stop poisoning my body and realize that it's a horrible thing. It doesn't mean it doesn't taste lovely.
It's almost like we're all hypnotizing ourselves every day throughout our whole life.
That's true. We are hypnotized every day.
Based on what we're saying to ourselves.
And also the media, who, by the way, if you put on a computer or drive to work, you are invited to eat rubbish food about 500 times a day. You know, you put on an advert, there's no adverts for broccoli or yummy pears. They're adverts for fast food. I mean, I went to the Olympics in London. I took my godson.
I was there, I loved it.
And there were 3 sponsors, Cadbury's, McDonald's and Coca-Cola. And you probably remember they were giving out, they had the purple trays, they were giving out Cadbury's. And I'm like, isn't that weird that chocolate is sponsoring the Olympics? But they have the money because they've made us believe that you can't have Valentine's Day without chocolate. You can't have Christmas without chocolate. How can you have Easter without Easter eggs? So we've got all of this stuff wired into our brain. It makes me happy. It makes me feel good. But you know, you can unwire that. It's actually really, really easy.
I was in college, my senior year of college. I wanted to be an All-American decathlete. And I had 6 months where I made the decision, okay, my dream was to be an All-American my whole life. I didn't get it in football originally. I did after this, but I had 1 season left, was what I thought. And I had the track season. And I was a decent sprinter, and I could high jump, and I could do a few events, but I was not good at any one event in order to make my goal of being an All-American. But the decathlon, which is 10 events, I was like, maybe if I put all these together, maybe I could. But I'd never done the pole vault, and I'd never done hurdles and a few other events. And for me, the pole vault was the scariest, because I didn't like going upside down, I didn't like being on a little pole 15 feet in the air, I didn't want to bend something and snap and break my neck, all these fears. And I literally did what you said, which was I made a voice audio recording back then when I was 21. It was about 8 to 10 minutes long, just essentially hyping myself up. I love going upside down. I love bending a pole where it almost snaps and slingshots me to achieve my goal. I just talked about this over and over. And then every night I would listen to this. I would listen to it before I did the pole vault, and I would watch highlight videos every night before I go to sleep of the best pole vaulters in the world. And I was horrible at the time, but I took the actions on the thoughts, which made the events a possibility. And I didn't even know what I was doing, but I was just like, I need to trick my mind until I became confident. I'm curious, you talked about telling ourselves better lies. How do we become more self-confident or overcome doubt if we've never been confident and then just lie that we are?
Yeah, well, it's what I call lie, cheat, and steal. Lie to your mind, cheat fear, steal back the phenomenal confidence you were born with. So a baby doesn't really have a fear of being upside down or a pole. And a baby would put a cockroach in their mouth if you let them, shove their hands in an electric socket if you allowed them to, touch a really hot oven, because they are fearless, they're kamikaze pilots. So I think you should lie to your mind all the time. You know, when I go on stage, to this day, I still get this tingling in my fingers and tingling in my toes, and I know it's adrenaline. And I could go, oh my God, I'm so nervous. Look, my hands are shaking now, and I'm really nervous. Or I could go, I'm so excited. I love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. And many years ago, I had an experience, probably the first time I really listened to the power of lying to yourself. And I was in bed, it was late at night, and the BBC called me and said, can you come on the radio in the morning? We want to talk about the work you've done with this football club and how they've gone from nowhere to being in the Premier League. And I'm like, sure. And they said, well, we'll pick you up at 6 a.m, it's very early, and then we'll take you to the studio and just do the radio show. So 6 a.m, but about 10 to 6, I got out of bed, cleaned my teeth. I think I half combed my hair, got in the car, went off, sat down, and then all of a sudden they said, actually, we're going to put you straight on the news. So they started to run me across the car park, and I'm like, where's hair and makeup? They went, no, we haven't got time for that. You're going on the news. This is such a great story. Forget about the radio. We want you on the news. So I sat down.
Video, TV, yeah.
TV, and I'm trying to comb my hair, put on a bit of lipstick. I mean, I've just woken up. And the gurney is there, and I know it's coming towards me like this. And I knew I had a choice. I could go, oh my God, why didn't you put on a nice jacket? Why didn't you comb your hair? Why didn't you put on makeup. Why didn't you? And I remember saying, I have a choice now. I've got 30 seconds to either go, kind of idiot, you, or to go, I love it. So I began to go, I love it, I love it, I love it. I love being live on the BBC News. I love it so much. I love it. And here it's, I love it, love it, love it, love it, love it, right in my face. And then I just did the interview and it was great. But if I'd kept saying, oh my God, I haven't even combed my hair, it looks so awful. And actually one person said, hey, I saw you, you didn't comb your hair. I said, I know, it was 6 a.m. But no one out there said, oh, it was so cool what you did with that football team. That was extraordinary. No one else said.
One person noticed.
Yeah, that was a girl, of course. And I noticed, but
Yeah.
But it's the lying to yourself. I can do it. I'm sure you know this very famous story about someone asking a major rock star what it's like. He went, it's amazing. Going on stage, it's better than an orgasm. He said, just before you go on, your fingers tingle and your heart beats and this adrenaline, this is just so awesome. And everything is going on. You're shaking, trembling, sweating, heartbeats pounding a million miles a minute. And then you go on stage and there they are and they love you. And it's like, it's better than sex. Now cue someone, they said, why did you stop performing? They said, well, the most terrible thing happened to me. Every time I was about to go on stage, my fingers would tingle and my heart beat so fast. And then I'd get all this adrenaline. And I started sweating and I realized I was having a massive panic attack. And it happened every time, so I retired from performing. So, you see, they both lied to themselves. She said it was a panic attack. He said it was better than sex. But it's better to say this is exciting, this is thrilling, this is amazing. Even when it isn't, when someone's putting a needle in your arm, and you go, oh, is that going to hurt? Better to go, I'm so great, and I'm just reading my phone here, and oh, look at that, that's fantastic. I'm oblivious to what's going on in my arm, and by the way, needles are so fine now that I won't even notice it. So it is a lie, but it's a good lie, and we all lie to it. When you say, I'm just rubbish, I'm just useless, I don't even know why I'm here, who's ever going to want me? Well, isn't that a lie?
That's a lie. Yeah.
Why would you say that? Some of the most happily married women in the world have got scars, flaws, and yet they have people that worship them. And some of the most beautiful women in the world go, yeah, but I've got big feet, or I've got this downy hair on my legs. And I don't know what to see. Yeah, this mole, or when I do that, I've got this fat. And they lie to themselves. I am not enough is the biggest lie in the world. That's why I founded the I'm Enough movement, because it's a lie. No baby says I'm not enough because I haven't got a dad, or I haven't got any teeth yet, or I've got these milk spots, I've got no hair. And so when we say I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not attractive enough, I'm not interested enough, that is a lie. Because my grand used to say, every pan has a lid. And then when I got married to John, I said, I found my lid, and he found his lid, and I'm far from perfect, and so is he. But these people that wait, they're waiting to be prettier, thinner, richer, more interesting. They're missing out on so much love, because that's a lie. You don't have to be perfect to be loved. You have to be you. And you'll never get to perfect. Perfect is a race, and as you run towards it, they move the finishing line again and again and again. And I've worked with many people who appear to be perfect, and they are always the unhappiest of all my clients, and always the loneliest too. Because that's a lie. There isn't a perfect person on the planet. And many of my clients are supermodels, so it becomes it's horrible. Everyone expects me to be amazing. Eric Clapton's wife, Patty, she and George Harrison wrote for her, Something in the Way You Move attracts me like no other lover. And Eric wrote Wonderful Tonight and Layla. And I asked her once what that was like. She said it was horrible, horrible. People expected this goddess to walk in the room, and I always felt I was going to disappoint them.
Wow.
Which is such a shame, because she is actually a lovely, lovely person, Patty. But just because she was a supermodel on the cover of Vogue, and she said, I looked for every flaw. And you know what? I always found it. Because if you look for flaws, that's one of the rules of the mind. You find what you look for. If you look for what's wrong, Of course you'll find it. If you look for what's right, you'll find that. If you look for why you're not enough, of course you'll find it. And if you look for why you are enough just the way you are, you're enough because you're enough.
Yeah.
So everything's a lie.
Lie to
so
yourself.
Tell yourself a better lie.
Lie, cheat, steal.
Well, aren't we all doing that now? I'm in lockdown. I'm in quarantine. Nobody's in quarantine. Quarantine is when you're in a tent in a hospital. Nobody can go in. That's quarantine.
Yeah. You're fine.
We're not in quarantine. We're not cooped up, stuck, trapped. No one's taken our freedom away. No, we're not a prisoner. But you see, this is the lie. The lies we say. I've got to be a grade A student. I'm not enough. I'm rubbish. And you might as well, since we all lie to ourselves, the freeway is killing me. Isn't that a lie? My job makes me want to die. Well, that's a lie. If I get rejected one more time, I'll jump under a train. But that's a lie. I've eaten non-stop for 24 hours. Really? Did you pee? Yes. Did you eat while you were peeing? No. Did you sleep? Yes. So did you eat? No. So you just said you ate non-stop for 24 hours. That's a lie. My legs are the size of a house. That's a lie. I've got a barn the size of, I've got a bum the size of a city. That's a lie. I should say butt. My butt is the size of a small city. That's a lie. I can eat enough. It's not just an army eats. All of these things are lies. My kid makes me want to kill myself. My partner is making me go crazy. I'm insane with tiredness. I'm shattered. I'm exhausted. They're all lies. You're not. You need a bit of sleep. My kids are nightmen. No, they're age appropriate. So we all lie. So tell yourself a better lie, and you'll have a whole better life.
Tell yourself a better lie, live a better life.
Yeah, exactly. Why not?
When you came and spoke at the Summer of Greatness, you talked about the I Am Enough book and challenge and everything, and it's funny because Jeanette and I, my girlfriend, were walking the day afterwards in Columbus and checking out some shops, and there was a big sign that was an art sign said I Am Enough. And I bought it for her, and she has it now, and it's a reminder to constantly tell yourself that lie, the good lie, that you are enough.
And one of the wonderful things to do with I'm Enough, you see, you might notice I have these little bracelets. They all say I'm enough. I wear them. You should write it on your mirror, write it on your fridge, put it in fridge, use liner or lipstick or marker, write it on your mirror, put it on your fridge, put it on your screensaver, put it on your phone alert so it goes off twice a day. And very securely incorporate into all your passwords. Imagine if the first thing you do in the morning is clean your teeth, and there it is, I'm enough. And then your phone pings at 8 a.m., I'm enough. And then you go to unlock your phone, you've got to type in, obviously dots, squiggles, safe, I'm enough. When you write it, read it, speak it, and see it every day, it goes in anyway, it sinks in, and it makes such a difference. And then it isn't a lie anymore, it becomes real, because first of all, we say things like, I'm enough, and your mind goes, you're not really enough, are you? Because you buy your clothes in Target and you live in a shed, and you're not really enough because you've got a very lowly job and
your girlfriend
an
left
old
you.
car, your girlfriend left you, your kids won't speak to you, you're not really enough because you've got cellulite, or you're not really enough because you're not tall. But then when you keep saying it, what happens is, because you're the one objecting, by the way, you run out of objections. You go, you know what? I'm not tall, neither is Kevin Hart, I'm still enough. I'm not a size 2, neither is J-Lo, I'm still enough. I'm not whatever, but I'm still enough. You actually run out of objections. When you run out of objections, then it goes in, and then it starts to nourish you. I was saying to people, when you have dry skin and you put on lotion, you're nourishing yourself, and your body doesn't go, is that lotion fair trade? Organic, has it got any parabens? It just goes, oh, this dryness is being nourished now by some lotion. But you have to nourish your soul with words, and they go in too. So nourish your soul with better words. And there's nothing better than I'm enough, because its strength is its simplicity. You were born knowing you're enough, and so what you're doing is reactivating and remanifesting and regenerating a truth that is your innate birthright. And no one came and took it away. People say, like, oh, Your brother was in my class, he was saying, what happened to you? Or your sister, she's so much kinder or neater than you. So people do chip away at it, but it hasn't gone. It's just been buried and you can resurrect it. So when you have too much stuff, it clutters up your mind, it clutters up your life. For instance, I now have 3 different types of vitamin D. Each one is open, that's open, that's open, that's open. I don't like that. I don't know which has got the sell-by date. Now I might have 3 of these, but I will not allow myself to open that one or that one until I've used up that one. So I put them away. I only have one on my counter in my bathroom, and I will not allow myself to open the other one till I've used up these 2. You might notice I have 4 different mascaras here. Somebody bought these for me, and I think I bought these too. But I have a rule, although I really want to try them all out, I will not open these until I've finished one and thrown them away. Whenever I get something new, I have to throw something. If I get a new book, I get rid of one. I get a new bra, I throw one away. I get a new shirt, I give one away. With makeup, I will not allow myself to use new stuff until I finish the old stuff. And sometimes I buy 3 of things because I love this lipstick, and I take it everywhere I go. I buy 3, I only have 1 in my makeup bag. These 2 stay in my drawer, they don't come out. It's really stressful having 3 types of lipstick. The thing I hate is going into the shower. There's 3 half-open bottles of shampoo, 3 half-used bottles of conditioner, 3 different types of body wash. I don't do that. I have 1 shampoo, 1 conditioner, 1 body wash. When I've used them up, I get another one. Maybe I want to rotate, but I'll put those 2 away when I take the new ones out. So let's start with shoes. I mean, how many shoes do you need? I have all these pairs of flip-flops, and I really only need 2 pairs. I think I was given these in a spa. So I'm going to give those to charity because they're pretty new. And I'm going to throw these away because they're a bit ratty. And now I have these shoes. I love these shoes, but they kind of look like they've seen better days. They're falling apart. So I could throw these away, maybe put them in a charity shop. I'll put them in a charity shop just in case someone can get rid of use. These shoes I love. My husband bought me these, but they're the wrong size. He can't change them. And I just can't wear them, much as I love them. So I don't know why I'm keeping them. So now I'm going to either sell these on a resale site or give them to one of those charities that helps women who are trying to go back into business. I'm going to put these here to resell or to donate to something specific. These shoes, well, I love them, but I don't wear them. They're a bit heavy. They're not good enough to resell. So they can go to charity. So charity, trash, be reused by someone else. I have these 2 shirts. I really like them, but they're kind of almost identical. This one is silk, so I'm going to keep that one. And this one I'm going to give to a lovely charity shop. So this shirt, I should never have bought this. It's too seasonal, it's too gimmicky. It's actually a bit too young for me too. So that's going straight to charity. This one, I just never liked this. It doesn't suit me. That's going to charity. That's too old. I don't know why I've kept this for years. You see, the problem is with people is that we keep stuff. I don't feel enough, so I've got loads of stuff. If my wardrobe is bursting at the seams, if I go into my closets and there's so much stuff, I feel I'm enough. I'm not enough, so I need more, and that's what runs binging and hoarding and compulsive shopping and collecting and just holding on and not letting go. The most important words in the whole world are let go. I love this linen shirt because it's a designer and it's linen, but I haven't worn it for years, so that's going to go to charity. I kind of like both these tops, but they're kind of the same. I don't need them both, so that one can go. I'm going to keep this one, and I'm going to keep this one. So now this black jacket, I kind of like it. It's Armani. My husband bought me that too. I just don't wear it. That can go to that lovely site that helps women go back into business, or I could, if I wanted the money, I could resell it. I know all women have so many pairs of leggings. This isn't even half of my leggings, but honestly, do I need all these leggings? I really don't. They're very basic, so they can be thrown away. I kind of like these. They're a bit old. They can be thrown away. I like those. I keep those. When I first had this top, I just loved it. And then this I put it on, I thought, I don't love that at all. That's going to charity. Here we have 3 identical black t-shirts. I mean, they're different fabric, but I don't need 3, so that can go to charity, that can go to charity. 1 black t-shirt is enough for any girl, little black vest top. This shirt I've never worn, but I kind of like it. I'll keep that. I'll give it another chance. But I do this cull every 6 months. This jacket's going to charity. I haven't worn it. Haven't worn that. So I know it's sometimes hard to get rid of something you love. Your clothes, they're expensive. But remember, giving it to someone else will give someone else joy. Giving your things to a charity shop will give someone else joy. Getting the clutter out of your house will give you joy. Do you know we wear 20% of our clothes 80% of the time? The rest just takes up space. So it can be hard to think, wow, I've given away those lovely shoes, that lovely jacket. You can sell them. There are lots of sites where you can sell your stuff, lots of shops that will sell them. But also try to imagine how somebody will feel who can't afford this great Armani jacket and gets it. When my daughter was little, she had so many Barbies. One day we went to someone's house. She said, I wanted Barbies for Christmas. And Mummy said, no, you got too many. And they went, oh, well, guess what? We have a sack full of Barbies our girls have outgrown. And she went home with even more Barbies. And I said, you know, darling, you don't need all these Barbies. And you don't need all these books. And we're going to give some away. And she didn't want to, but she sorted out a box of Barbies, she sorted out a box of books. I took them to a refuge in for women who are escaping domestic violence. They wrote a letter to my daughter saying, thank you so much. Do you know that mothers and children arrive in the middle of the night with nothing? And your Barbies and your books made them so happy, and that made her so happy. I also donated curtains and furniture because not only do they offer refuge for people in danger, they actually rehome them. And they have nothing, so it was a great thing to give things away. In fact, at one stage I was changing my kitchen and everything's going to be integrated. And I said, would you like my dishwasher? They went, oh no, nobody here can afford to buy dishwasher tablets. And I thought, wow, how lucky am I? I didn't even think about the cost of dishwasher tablets. So if you're finding it hard to pass on your stuff, to let go of your stuff, think of the joy it will give to someone else. In England, we have this little tradition, luckily I happen to have a garden wall, where you put anything you don't want on the garden wall. It can be china, it can be books, it can be movies, it can be clothes, and people come and take them. And I'd often sit in my office looking down at my garden wall, watching people coming and taking it, and the joy they got gave me joy. One day I had my daughter's old beaten up bike there, and this guy knocked on it and said, is this bike really for free? I said, yes, take it. He almost cried. He said, oh, I'm so happy. I've wanted a bike for my child. I can't afford one. And that gave me more pleasure than it gave him. So if you think, no, I just can't part with that shirt. I can't part with my baby's little shoes. This is my baby's first top. This is my grandmother's shawl, and I did that. If you have your baby's first shoes, your baby's first little dress they came from hospital in, your grandmother's bed, and then take a picture and make a collage of all these things. I have photos of all my baby's first clothes, and I can look at those. But I don't really need to have a trunk full of all her clothes. It's just lugging stuff around. And when you have a cluttered life, you have a cluttered mind. There's nothing worse than pulling open a drawer and everything falls out and you can't shut it again, opening a closet and everything falls out. It's a wonderful thing to sort everything out and put it away. You know, our mind is a bit like our closet. Sometimes we open the cupboard, shove everything in and ram the door shut. Next time I open the door, it all falls out. I believe in your mind, you to go in there, sort stuff out, label it, fold it up, put it back neatly. So your mind and your closet, your mind and your drawers are actually a bit of a mirror for each other. Don't ram everything in all messed up. Sort it out. Decide, do I need this? Does this have any purpose? Does it make me happy? Is it useful? Would it give someone else more pleasure than it gives me? Would it give me immense pleasure to give it to somebody else? When I was moving house, I decided I had to give away my daughter's doll's house. I was keeping these things for her baby. She said, Mum, I don't want them. I haven't got space. I couldn't take them. And I gave away my daughter's doll's house and all her doll's things, and the person that took them was so happy. They even sent me a letter saying, I've got so much joy. In fact, they gave this doll's house to an old lady who had Alzheimer's. It was her aunt. She said, you know, my aunt is so happy rearranging those things. It gives her joy. That gave me joy. So let's go on to books. My husband reads a book almost every day. He's a prolific reader and collector of books. And when we were moving house, we must have had 5 boxes of books. He wanted to ship them to America. I'm like, it's going to cost more to ship them than it is to rebuy them. And I don't keep books. People are shocked when I say that, but I don't keep books. I have 3 categories for books. So these books are what I call reference books. These are all therapy books, and I keep them, I refer to them, I highlight them, I turn pages down. I don't treat books with respect. I write all over them, I stick paper clips there, I want to go back and go, oh yes, that's that thing I loved. So I keep these books. I also keep books like this where the author has signed those books to me. I know this person, and I keep these books. This is a novel. It was a great novel. I'm never going to read it again. So those, I give them away. I put them on the wall outside my house in the summer. I take them to charity shops. I don't put them in the bin, but I get rid of them. I give them away very quickly because too much stuff just clutters up my life. And of course, it feels so good when you open your drawers. And then when you go into your closet and you have hangers and space, it feels so good when you go into your kitchen cabinets and you've thrown away all those half jars of spices because you opened 6 jars of garlic all at the same time. Decant it into one. I decant stuff and I've got all this different stuff. It's all the same. Decant it, get rid of it. But I'm the same. I will not open something if I've already got it. If I had a packet of butter, I wouldn't open a second packet of butter until it's gone. My husband isn't quite the same. He might have 3 boxes of eggs all opened. I decant them back into one because I love that streamlining. So my husband has an office upstairs. And then he comes down and says, I can't find a charger. I can't find a wire. I can't find headphones. Let me buy more. And we have too many chargers, too many headphones. I used to keep them in little pouches like this. Look, darling, all your chargers are in here, all your earphones are in here, but I realized he couldn't see them. So I decided to do this. I have a Ziploc bag with extra chargers, and I don't put them in his office. I put them in the kitchen drawer because he might be on the top floor in his office, but then he's downstairs and he can't find wires. And I don't want him to bring the chargers from upstairs downstairs because they get lost. So they stay in his office and we have extra ones. And these little zippy bags are great. Put them in a kitchen drawer with all his stuff. This is my husband's bag that I keep because there's nothing I hate more than sitting at my dining table. And I took all this stuff off my dining table. This is all my lovely husband's stuff. But I don't really want it over my dining table, so it all goes in here. And he knows that if he wants to find anything, any flex, a bit of equipment, it's all in here. And when people come around to my house, I just sweep it all into here. He doesn't mind because he kind of knows where it is. So these kind of baskets, little boxes, if you work from home and your dining table is your desk and your breakfast bar is your desk and it doesn't bother you, that's great. But if you have children coming in, friends coming over, just put everything into one of these bags, put it under the table, put it in a cupboard, and then everything you need is there, but it's not right in your line of vision. I also put a lot of my husband's stuff in here. I put that on the stairs, and every time I go upstairs, I take his stuff up, his magazines, his papers. I just put them all in there, and then I put them all in there, and I don't have to see clutter because a cluttered surface clutters your mind. Sometimes you wake up and go, oh God, it's just so messy. I really can't cope with this. I know when I had builders renovating my home and I had just stuff everywhere and I could deal with it, but every now and again I think I have to put all this stuff away. It's a bit like when you go on holiday and you put your case at the end of the bed and you throw everything out and then you can't find anything. I quite like to put stuff away. It just makes my life so much easier, and yours too. So if you have children and you're forever getting their stuff, just get 3 of these, put them on the stairs, and every day add to them your kids' socks, your kids' wires, your kids' books, your kids' papers, and just leave them on the stairs, and each kid will take them upstairs. You'll have to go and bring it down again, but it's a great way of not having too much clutter. And when you don't have too much clutter, it helps other people. My daughter's an artist, she lives in mess. One day I went and said, Phaedra, your room is so messy. She said, Mummy, I love it like this. I love all my paints around me and all the paper, and I realized she likes that. And I had a choice, shall I get stressed about it or just shut the door? And one day I went in and I just stapled thick plastic all over her beautiful, all over the walls, and said, it's your room. You can make as much mess as you like. It is pointless stressing. So keep the surfaces you like as stream-free as you can, but don't force that on your kids. Allow them to have one place, their bedroom, where it's a mess, because that's their space. It's not really your space. And a lot of stress is avoided by shutting the door, and don't go in there too often. Then it won't bother you. Because here's another side of this. Years ago when I was dating, I went to someone's house, this guy, and I noticed every fork, every knife, every spoon was just right, every cushion was just right, and everything in my head said, this is a control freak. There is no happiness here because this person is so busy making out there perfect, and we only want to make out there perfect when we can't make in here perfect. I'm a mess, but my house is immaculate. Everything is perfect. Every chair is angled just right. And he did turn out to be an enormous control freak with a lot of issues, and I knew that, and I should have said thank you, but no thank you. So don't be obsessed with everything being tidy. Your kids will remember being happy. They won't remember if everything was perfect. And remember that sometimes we control all of this because we can't control this. The only law of control is this. When you can control your thoughts and make them positive, your life will be amazing. So don't be that woman who has a white sofa and a white carpet and white cabinets and gets so stressed when the kids put peanut butter marks on them. You know, give children a leeway, allow other people to be different. My husband and my daughter are messy, I'm tidy. I've had to become a little less tidy. My husband's had to become a little less messy. I can't make him be tidy like me. He could never make me be messy like him. I like the bed made, he doesn't notice it. You have to meet people in the middle. I like no clutter, I like everything put away. It just makes me feel good. But I know that forcing other people to do that doesn't make them feel good, and then it will make me feel bad. So do what makes you feel good, but do not impose that onto other people. Try to be more chilled about how the people around you live, because people won't remember what you did. They won't remember anything except how you made them feel. And if you make your kids feel bad, take your shoes off, don't put that there, that doesn't go there, don't do that, put all your toys away, don't do that, they remember that you made them feel uncomfortable. You want people to feel happy, make them happy. Declutter for you, help your kids do the same. Make it fun to give things away, but don't stress about people who don't live at the same level of tidiness as you, because what I found with messy people is they don't even see the mess, and you are wasting your time going, look at all that mess. How could you leave that lovely shirt on the floor? It's so disrespectful. How can you leave a cereal bowl on the carpet for 4 days? What kind of slob are you? Messy people don't see mess. Tidy people do. I have an artist daughter. She's nothing like me. And that was how it was meant to be. You're not supposed to give birth to yourself. Celebrate everyone else. Celebrate yourself. If you enjoyed that video, check out the next one right here. You can also click the link below right here for your free gift. We have a choice. You can go, I'm in agony, my head is killing me, which is not true. You can go, I got a headache, it's slightly annoying, but I'm going to take